pull up a cup of coffee, and let's get this party started.
We're the uplines you didn't know you needed, but now you have.
This is the podcast for women who are building a direct sales business, but want to do it the right way.
Melanie has a decade of experience in direct sales. She's earned the top in industry 4 years in a row and has grown a multi-million-dollar organization. She gives a no BS approach to leadership, recruitment, and organization.
And my bestie Katy has you covered with the rest. From the relationships, the do's and don'ts of branding, her content has been viewed by millions. She doesn't just talk the talk, but she teaches people how to create an intentional brand too.
All right, let's get this party started. Well, hey everyone, it is Katy of the Direct Sales Done Right podcast. And this week, we're going to be talking about something a little controversial in the social media world, specifically with Instagram, and that is following. We're going to talk about why it might not be that important to really quote unquote grow your following. We're going to talk about some changes that we've seen and really what you can be doing instead to convert your followers into consumers and what we should be focused on. But before we get into all of that, I want to read a review of the week. And we love hearing from you and how the Direct Sales Done Right podcast is really making a positive impact in your business. So Brittany T says, I just started listening and love all the information Melanie and Katy give actual and useful tips that I can implement in my business now. I'm new to direct sales and could use the guidance. We totally get it, Brittany. We have been there as well, and we love having you listen in every week to the Direct Sales Done Right podcast. I also want to shout out at Jamie LJ829. Jamie, you are the listener of the week. And here's what I need you to do. I need you to drop us a message over on Instagram and let us know we read your name as the listener of the week because you have won a private mini coaching session with myself or Melanie. You can ask us anything that you want about business, and we are going to give you some of our best advice, practices, tips, all of those things. And if you're not Jamie and you're wondering, how did she win? Here's what you need to do. Take a screenshot of this podcast episode and tag us at Chic Influencer, at Melanie Mitro, at Katy Writes Content, and let us know that you are listening in. When you share the word of the Direct Sales Done Right podcast, it helps us grow our following and make a more positive impact on the people in direct sales. But I want to get into the meat of today's topic. And this is going to be one of those topics that might ruffle a couple feathers because for so long, as business owners in the direct sales space, it has always been a focus of, I got to grow my following. I got to grow my following. And here's the truth. In the last year, we at Chic Influencer have worked with well over 80 women in the direct sales space through our Chic branding experience. And if you're not quite sure what that is, it's a 4-phase experience that's really designed to help you build a more intentional brand that helps you convert more people into consumers of what you do and also members of your organization. And here's what we've learned. Over working with 80 people, some people in the same exact industry, there are no two brands that are alike. And so everybody that we do one of these sessions with, we are able to find a unique sharing proposition that helps them stand out in the industry. But one of the frustrations we've heard from people who have done the Chic branding experience is, Katy, I'm getting more sales, I'm getting more messages, I'm getting more inquiries, but my following isn't really growing. And I'm here to tell you that isn't a bad thing. When you're speaking to your ideal client, and you're speaking so closely to them that they tend to hear you above the noise versus just liking a post and scrolling on. I don't know about you, but I would rather get comments in my posts that say, I'd love more information, or I've been thinking about doing this, or dropping emojis for services that they're interested rather than messages that end with good for you, or that's so cool, or must be nice to be able to do that, or wow, you look so awesome in that dress. We want to start changing the conversation so that we have less of a personal brand and more of an intentional brand that's really focused on sales. So I think I'm going to start by just calling you out, IG. I want to call you out and say to you, you can absolutely be successful in direct sales without growing a massive following. And in fact, if you have a micro following, but you're converting, that's amazing. If people are coming in and they're sticking around, you're doing the dang thing. You are making it happen. And here I want to talk about, very honestly, the truth is that you don't need a larger following because it doesn't necessarily equate to more sales, more engagement, and it certainly doesn't always lead to more conversion. The goal instead, and if you take anything from this podcast episode, I hope it's this. The goal should be to create content that benefits your niche long before a sale is ever made. So, are you adding value through your content? Are you an asset in your industry? Are you making it personal or are you making it intentional? Let's actually break some of these questions down. You probably are wondering like, okay, Katy, yeah, I hear it. I gotta add value, or sure, like I get, like I should be more intentional versus just showing people what outfit I'm wearing today, or that I worked out this morning, or what my skincare routine is and why I have this glowing skin. We should be really thinking about how our content impacts the person on the other side. And I know right now you are asking yourself, okay, but like how do I do that? So let's actually break it down. I'm going to give you 3 steps today. That's it. Because I want you to get to work. I want you to actually go to your account and have a gut check, just sort of audit of your own account and ask yourself, like, would I follow me? Do I give am I giving my audience a reason to come back? So tip number one is give your niche a reason to come back. It's that simple. Give them a reason to come back. It's kind of like when I think about people who want to focus on growing a following, I think of it like this. Let's say that you actually have a brick and mortar business and you think of your IG grid as a brick and mortar business, right? And in your brick and mortar business, you want to just bring the crowds to your store. And so what you're doing is you're drumming up all this interest and you're like really getting people pumped and excited, and you're being very niche with your content, and you're really being like very, very like personal with the reason people should follow you. You're giving them a great story. And so what you notice is everybody's lining up at your door to like learn more about like getting into the door. But here's what often happens. You get so consumed with growing your following that you never think to open the doors to your business. You never think, oh yes, I have to still sell my product. I have to show people the benefit of my product. I have to show people the benefit of what being a member of my team would look like, how I'm going to serve them, and what it's ultimately going to do for them. And so we might grow this massive following, but if people don't know what to do with our content, why in the world are they going to come back? They're only going to stand outside the doors for so long before they find somebody else who entertains them. Yes, I do think entertaining content can bring people back, but you got to give them a reason to actually stick around. So, first tip for you is to give your niche a reason to come back. Here's what you're going to do. You want to focus on the current following that you have, and then ask yourself, what reason do they have to stick around? What value am I adding? How am I making their day better? Am I serving them information for what they originally came for? So for example, if you're somebody who says, well, I know every day I got to show up, show people that I work out. Well, why? What does that do for somebody else? What tips are you giving people? Is there a specific reason people would follow you for the workouts that you do every single day? Or are you just showing people that you push play on your workout and like making them go, oh, now I'm motivated? It doesn't really work like that. You want to say what's in it for the audience. You want to give them content that they're going to engage with. There is nothing worse than seeing a brand owner. Let's just say one of the Kardashians, and they're, they have following of millions, and they'll put up a post with a very cryptic, hashtag that it's like #love. And they put up this hashtag, and then they have like little hearts, and people are like, I love you, Kim, or you're the best Kardashian, or I want to be just like you when I grow up. And you're all like, okay, cool. You're a Kardashian, but I'm not a Kardashian. And so I want to give people content that they're going to engage with purpose. I am not interested in somebody saying, wow, that's really cool and good for you, Katy, or I'd love to be able to do that someday. I want to be able to engage with people who are ready for someday to be today. Like, I want those comments to be, Katy, can you tell me more about what you do? Or that service is going to serve me. And the only way I can do that is to really add that value and let people know that I'm a real person. And argumentatively, sure, I guess you could say the Kardashians are real people. And I'm not picking on the Kardashians. That's not my point. But when people feel as though you're actually engaging back with them, they feel seen and heard. Let's actually take it one step further. Let's say that you put a post up, it's a funny meme about just ending your year or ending the month, right? Just shy of actually doing pretty well. And so in the comment section, somebody goes, yep, that feels accurate. Instead of just going LOL, why don't you send them a private message and go, I saw your post. I just wanted to let you know, number one, I'm rooting for you. And number two, I have totally been there. Hope you're having a good day. Wow. She sent me a private message letting me know that she's rooting for me. Like, that is so freaking cool, right? So you want to make sure that people understand that if they come to your page and they engage with your page, it's reciprocated. You feel seen and heard. And a little hack I have around that too is when you give your niche a reason to come back, a big part of why they come back is because they feel heard. And so many times in my content, I have taken problems or struggles that my current clients or my following are feeling right now. And I literally take that caption and I put it in my notes section of my phone. And I know that that's going to be a post later. I know that the problem that they have is almost like a representation of what very likely other people in my niche are experiencing as well. So when you really do cultivate that community, you're starting to bring people back to your page very purposefully. You're hearing them differently. You're actually saying to yourself, I want to help them solve a problem. I don't just want to make a sale. I want them to be better because they fell upon my page, because they came here. They have a resolution. They have something to go off of. I'm building that trust and that expertise in the industry. All right. The second one that I want you to do is get super, super purposeful about the content you create for your niche. So ask yourself questions like, is posting this picture of my daughter's soccer game adding value to my followers? Does my audience really need to know that I worked out for 20 days straight? Does posting this picture of my family do something for my audience? So instead of being so personal, I want you to start sharing more intentional. This is kind of this awkward sort of dance we're doing with Instagram right now, where we've built so many businesses. If you've been in the direct sales industry for some time, a lot of people have built their business around a personal brand. They had these 4 thumbprints, or they had that idea of like faith and family and fitness, and they would kind of like create content in those areas. And although those things worked for a while, I'm starting to believe and experience firsthand, even in my own sales, that people aren't as interested in keeping up with the Kardashian type of content. Sure, they might engage with they might engage with their content. They might be entertained by it. But when people really feel seen and heard, that's where they get excited about being served more exclusively with you. And so when you're building your brand, stop thinking about, why am I just posting workouts for 20 days straight? Okay, I know I need to post, but do I need to really post a picture of my daughter's soccer game? Or what is the purpose of posting this soccer game? How does this add value to the person on the other side of the computer? And so we really have to be more purposeful with our content. We really have to ask ourselves, what does this do for them? How does this serve them? And if it doesn't, we can start asking ourselves why. There's also one more thing that I want to mention about that. when it comes to your grid, I still think of the grid sort of as a magazine cover. People get a feel for what you stand for, how you serve people, and even what you sell. But when it comes to your stories, every single day, it's kind of like opening the magazine up. Every single day within your stories, you can sell. Every single day. Now, of course, we use the Direct Sales Done Right planner, and we know strategically what our marketing strategy is every single week. But within those stories, you have all rights to go ahead and market whatever it is that you offer, whether it's a group, whether it's a product, or whether it's your coaching opportunity. So you want to make sure people know that the doors to your business are open. You want to make sure that it's not just about letting people know about who you are and what you stand for personally, but more importantly, how you serve. And this is tip number 3. And this is something that I really want to emphasize with you. Social media is the long game. It is not a short sprint. You are in it for the long haul. As somebody who's been in the direct sales industry for over 10 years, I have seen so many trends. I remember when Facebook was like, somebody will watch a 20-minute video of you and be really excited about what you have to say. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody does that anymore. However, as I have seen social media change, I can tell you that the people who are most successful are the ones who are willing to embrace those changes. So you want to ask yourself, am I in it for the long game, or am I super comfortable with what I've always done and it used to work in 2020, and even though it's not really working, I'm going to keep pushing forward with my strategy? Or are you willing to make some changes? And so I just want to remind you, I want you to rethink actually why you want to grow your following. Do you want to grow your following, or do you want to grow your sales? Do you want to grow the number of people who see your content, or do you want to see the number of people in your online space become consumers and also become team members? They are not always the same. Sure, if you're a Kardashian and you sign up for direct sales, I guarantee some people are buying your products and signing up to be members of your team. But for most of us who are really trying to get this off the ground, or who may feel like you're just running yourself in circles trying to figure out how to do it, I want you to take a step back and say, am I an intentional brand owner? Am I building a following that is with purpose? So even if it isn't skyrocketing, I know that the content that I am creating is serving them, and I will be the first person that comes to mind when they are ready to purchase or to sign up. So the truth bomb of the week, following isn't where it's at. Serving is where it's at. Really quickly, I want to just take a minute to read to you a review from a client in the Rockstar Recruitment course. And if you have not heard of this, my girl Melanie, she is my partner at Chic Influencer, and she is the creator of the Rockstar Recruitment course. She is the queen bee when it comes to really building your team and duplicating systems. So if you are kind of trying to figure out how to really grow your business beyond just sales, I want to really emphasize how cool the Rockstar Recruitment community really is. And so Lacey says, just wanted to share a hashtag win, just recruited my 5th coach to my team this month. And this was just yesterday that this was posted. So this would have been in January that she wrote this. I recruited 19 coaches in 2022. 13 of those were from September to December. So 2023 is already way ahead of last year, and I'm not letting that off the pedal. I don't know about you, but if your pen just dropped out of your hand because you're blown away by those recruitment results, I would probably check out the show notes to learn a little bit more about what is coming. You guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Direct Sales Done Right podcast. We will see you next week.
All right, so if you loved today's episode, make sure you head over to wherever you listened to the episode today and leave us a rating and review. And also take a little screenshot and tag us on Chic Influencer. We'll feature you in our stories. Plus, we'd love to get your feedback and hear from our listeners.
Yes. Until next week, let's make chic happen.